Folks, we're talking about 2,600 uncounted ballots. So how does that happen? State election officials say the breakdown was not because of faulty technology, but, quote, a person not executing their job properly. 11 Alive's Hope Ford is at the state capitol to explain what happened here and what this could mean for the vote count.
Yeah, well, Ron, the Fulton County Board of Elections, they did send us a statement, and they said that it's believed it was caused by a faulty scanner. That's what caused the issue. But Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office says that this was caused by human error.
There's no issues with any of the equipment or anything. They just didn't scan these ballots, it looks like, or the card was not put through properly. But it's not an equipment issue. Again, it's a person not executing their job properly.
So what does all of this mean? Well, first, it added about 778 votes in favor of President Trump, but it's not enough to put a sizable dent in Joe Biden's lead.
We've talked to the county election director already. In fact, one of our senior members of our team has asked for his resignation because it's a big error. That's something that it's really it's rudimentary. It's not something that shouldn't happen, but it did.
Now, Doug Collins responded on Twitter saying, accountability starts at the top, Mr. Secretary. Georgians have lost confidence in your ability to lead. And again, that was Doug Collins on Twitter. This is, of course, repeating a theme from some Republicans calling for Brad Raffensperger to resign. Now, one of our 11 Alive political analysts tells me this is what audits and retallies and recounts are for, to catch these types of errors. Results are double checked and verified before the election is certified in the county. This is not evidence of fraud. Our analyst says there are always a few errors in the initial count. Now, in the past 20 years, there's never been a statewide recount that has made a change in the lead of the winner in Georgia. Now, still, the audit will continue, and that is set to wrap up on Wednesday. Aisha?
All right, Hope Ford, thank you for giving us the checks and balances tonight.